Hi guys, welcome to the F1 Debate Show. My name is LC.
My name is JT.
And this is the 2016 Monaco Grand Prix preview. Now, Monaco is the sixth race in the 2016 season, and it's the jewel in the whole calendar. Everyone wants to win this race. It's the most famous. If you win here, you're a legend, remembered for the rest of the time. 78 laps of the Monaco Grand Prix on Sunday at a 3.4 kilometre circuit length, which estimates at around 261 kilometres in race distance. The fastest lap in 2015 was set by Red Bull's Daniel Ricciardo of a time of 1:18.063. Now, Monaco is just an amazing street circuit in the Principality of Monaco in the south of France, on the French Riviera and the Mediterranean, and it's just an unbelievable spectacle, isn't it? From a fan's perspective, from a spectator at the track, and obviously the drivers and the teams wanting to go for the win. Now, JT, this is a very special race. Heading into Monaco, obviously after Spain, is just unbelievable, isn't it? And everyone wants to perform amazing here, even more so than they would at any other race.
There's always a slight buzz around there when Monaco comes into town. You know what I mean? The hype of going into Spain, going, oh, next week is Monaco, or the week after it's Monaco and stuff like that. Because as I said, it is the jewel in the crown. It is the Principality. It's one of the most classic, not only Grand Prix races on the calendar, but it's worldwide known across all over the world. If you were to go to America and people say, "Oh, the Monaco Grand Prix," they would know exactly what you're talking about. So it just proves how much of an impact this Grand Prix really has, and it is one of my favourite races to watch.
Yeah.
I love driving it on the game as well. Back in the day, which was very, very hard, by the way, but. Probably since then, I would just love reading facts about Monaco, looking at pictures and stuff, and I'm thinking there going, I want to be there. I would love to go there one day, but
yeah.
You know what I mean. But I mean, I've looked at tickets for to go there, and I'm like, oh god, that's kind of expensive. Because obviously, as we all know, you see loads of celebrities, loads of rich people there. Obviously, you see all the boats in the harbour and stuff, and they just look absolutely fantastic as well. So it's a spectacular race, absolutely gorgeous as well. And it's probably one of the least very glamorous place in Europe, because Europe doesn't really have that many glamorous places like Monaco. They're known for in the Far East and stuff, but this is a very, very special occasion. Definitely, I love it.
I mean, as I said, JT, there's tracks like Singapore and Abu Dhabi, obviously in the middle in the Far East, that try and emulate Monaco, but they can't. There's nothing like Monaco.
Never come. No other race will come close to Monaco. Definitely.
Now, as we speak, as we release this video, FP1 and FP2 will be going on at the moment. Obviously, Thursday, a day earlier than normal weekends. That's because Friday is a holiday, and also because, as JT said, the glitz and the glamour, they have parties and things like that. There's always a big fashion show, football matches. In the past, they had parties on Force India's team principal Vijay Mallya's yacht, but I don't know if they'll be doing that this year.
I believe this year there's rumours going about that he's going to invite us to LC. Because obviously last year the F1 Debate Show wasn't around. He's been looking on the channel, so he's like, they seem like good party dudes. I might give them an invite. So Vijay, if you're watching this, I'll be keeping tracking through the post this week. So.
That's if he's there. But there has been news of a celebrity football match that's going to be going on, and the other driver at the moment who's been confirmed is Sauber's Felipe Nasra. But obviously there'll be a lot more through the week. Now let's move on to obviously the drivers. Now the man who won 2015's race was Nico Rosberg. It's a very special place for him. Because his dad, Keke Rosberg, obviously won here, and he's done it before. He did it in 2013 and 2014, 2015, so that's 3 on the bounce, going for this year, which would be 4. So it's another record for him to carry through. As you know, JT, his run of consecutive wins ended when his teammate... I'll just say he collided with his teammate, just to stop any hate that the F1 division might get. He collided with his teammate in Spain, obviously going for 8 in a row. That's gone now. So, I mean, he still leads at the top of the standings, obviously, with 100 points, but he's ended that. But he's got another record to go for, as I say, with 4 consecutive wins, 4 years in Monaco. So, how much will he be going for that? Remember, he's leading, going for 4. I mean, he's got everything to play for, hasn't he, this lad?
Yeah, it's definitely, obviously, the incident with Hamilton there during the week will definitely knock him back a little bit, I would have thought. But, I mean, if there's any race he needs to go into where he needs to be, mentally prepared, right? I've lost the chance, to match, beat Michael Schumacher rather, a legend in the sport. Now, going into Monaco, his home race. This is where he lives, but let's not forget he was brought up in Monaco as well, so he knows the street well. He's won it 3 times in a row. If he wins it again, he'll be tied with Alain Prost. If he wins it next year, he'll be tied with Schumacher, and if he wins it again, he'll be tied with the likes of like Graham Hill, and obviously the late great Ayrton Senna. So he knows this track very well. He obviously knows the ins and outs of it. Obviously, he has brought up some very big controversy, as if you remember in 2014, when he went wide, blocking Hamilton's time lap. He got pole position. He wanted to win the race. I will be good to see something like that again. Just more inter-team squabbles between them two, mind games, as you could say. And I believe that he'll do this well, do well this weekend. He needs to get back into form. He needs to get back into winning ways. He knows right. There's no real difference between Hamilton. Hasn't really closed on me, but Kimi's there now. Kimi's doing well. He's done all right in Monaco in recent years, and obviously he'll be getting momentum, trying to claw back the lead from Nico Rosberg. So I think if Rosberg gets pole position and everything goes his way, then he's definitely going to win the race. He will be unbeatable, definitely this weekend.
As you said about inter-team squabbles, obviously in Monaco, as you say, with 2014's qualifying, obviously Nico blocking Hamilton. There was also an incident in 2015, if you remember, when Hamilton was pitted under the safety car and Nico wasn't. And then it became one of Lewis's radio response was obviously voted the second best in the F1's 2015 team messages, where he said, "I've lost this race, haven't I?" Obviously showing his anger, if you remember, on the podium when Martin Brundle was interviewing Rosberg, a very happy Sebastian Vettel, and then Hamilton obviously.
I always remember Sebastian's. I think it was that race where he said, I think Brundle was talking to them two. Obviously, them two were very unhappy. Then Vettel went up. He went, "I'm happy," and something like that. I think it was that race, and I'm like, everybody hates Vettel back in the day, but I love Vettel. He's a good kid.
He was diffusing the tension, JT. I mean, you had
he
to.
Was
probably incredible. He was a bit like Fernando Alonso as they changed the drivers in the conference in Spain.
I was like, come on, Fernando, you watch the F1 debate show. I mean, catch up on the episodes. Come on, God.
But he did well though, because he probably thought this place is gonna explode if I don't say it.
Cool, Fernando. He played it cool.
So obviously Vettel did very well to diffuse the tension there. But a year's gone past. Well, actually, sorry, let's go back. So 2014, that's when they collided, both in qualifying and in the race, squabbling. Lewis came out and said, "We're not friends." 2015, that incident came when Nico won the race. Lewis was fooled by the team, if you like, and said, "I've lost this race." So 2 years have gone by since the first incident in 2014, and then also a year, if you like, from 2015, if you think that was worse. Things haven't got better, have they? Because you're coming off the back of Spain, aren't you? And their relationship is not going to be anything but even normal.
I think probably from that moment onwards, I don't think their relationship was ever the same. Probably from Bahrain 2014, I would say, when they had that massive couple and then a little bit of a fight, you could say, in at the FIA scrutiny area or whatever it was. I have struggled to rebuild on a friendship. You have seen them both Nico congratulating Lewis every time he's won a world championship, and there's been signs of, are they friends now? But when the championship starts, that's when everything's out the window. And I believe that we'll probably see some more controversy again this season. And if we do, it'll probably go down as 3 very bad years of Monaco for Mercedes. But I mean, after the last race, this is the last thing Mercedes will want. There'll be, I think, Toto Wolff and Paddy Lowe and everyone, Niki Lauda will be sitting around the table going, "Oh my God, we've got Monaco next. What's happened the last 2 years? Then what's happened in the previous race? This is the last thing we need." But I did see this today, by the way, from quite a popular source as well, that apparently Hamilton, I doubt this is true, but Hamilton might not take part in the Monaco Grand Prix because of some sort of nightclub incident. Now, I don't know the full story about this, but there's apparently a little bit of a squabble going on in a nightclub. And what this was about was because that it came out that Pascal Wehrlein is going to be testing, has been testing for Mercedes, and he was kind of dropped in last minute, replacing Lewis Hamilton, which was a bit like, what's going on there? Hamilton was, set and ready to test. And then Wehrlein came in all of a sudden and just replaced Lewis Hamilton, and everyone's going, what's the crack there? And apparently it was because of some sort of fallout that had, obviously, at Spain with obviously what happened.
Yeah.
And apparently there's something that happened at a nightclub in Monaco, and apparently Lewis isn't going to race. But I don't believe that's going to be true, because he's got a world championship to
Yeah.
win. You know what I mean? He's got one to go after, so he can't really afford not to race. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he's just going to throw a stop, he might as well just leave Mercedes now, leave Formula One, and go do IndyCar, whatever that is. And you know what I mean? Just leave the sport behind. But
Go that thing we don't know about IndyCar.
whatever IndyCar is, someone tell us what IndyCar is, please. It's like the sixth weekend of the F1 season, and we still don't know what IndyCar is.
I mean, there's threats obviously chucked in. Like, remember, Toto
Yeah.
Wolff said that even at the end of last year, if Nico and Lewis don't, smarten their act up, they could both be out the door, sacked. But that would never happen, would it?
No, I don't. Well, especially on the form Nico Rosberg's in right now.
Oh no.
Because I think Rosberg sort of put his act together. It's like, right, you know what? I want to beat Lewis Hamilton. 2 years of being in the shadow. Screw your shadow. I'm going for the win as well. And Hamilton's like, my shadow's cool. Stay there. I let you cover my shadow. And obviously he's throwing a massive hissy fit about it, and he can't take it. But for most Formula One fans, that is pretty funny to see, because it's like kind of like a spoiled brat being favoured. Then his little brother's like, I want that, and then all of a sudden it's like, aha, I've overtaken you, and the kid's like, you know what I mean? That type of thing. So, I haven't really can't afford to miss this race.
No, I'm sure not. But obviously, as you remember, in terms of when Hamilton was involved, remember the incident with Adrian Sutil in 2011 in the nightclub.
Oh yes, I remember that because they had a massive fight, didn't they? And they weren't friends from then. It was like, oh dear.
Anyway, let's chuck some facts at you at the moment. So let's go to the 2016 Drivers' Championship table. Now, obviously, Nico's at the top with 100 points, 4 wins, 4 victories out of 5 races. We're not going to talk about if it could have been 5, because we should have talked about that on Sunday in the review show. I mean, obviously Max did incredible to do that win, but I think in the back of everyone's mind, even probably Christian and Daniel Ricciardo's teammate, and maybe even Max and his dad Jos, I think in the back of your minds, you always think that if the Mercedes drivers had been in that race, had stayed in, hadn't collided, they would have won. Even if Max drove the best lap of his life, he broke all the records in terms of the fastest lap at the track and all this. You always think that, but obviously great race from Max. But Nico, 4 out of 5 wins is great. Kimi Raikkonen was 61 points, 39 points behind Nico Rosberg. As I say, he leapfrogged Lewis Hamilton by 4 points. Lewis, I mean, basically, me and JT have always said that he needs to pull his act straight away. But now it's just, after what had happened, I mean, it could be his fault. It's not his fault. We're not going to judge. We're not going to get involved in this conversation, in this debate. But even though I call the F1 debate show, but obviously he's fell behind, and also Kimi is in the best position that he has been in for a very long time, since 2008, when he was going for the championship. His second world championship is back to back, obviously, but Lewis, pipped him, and obviously his teammate at Ferrari, Felipe Massa. But Kimi's best position he's ever been in. 3 out of 5 podiums. 3 podiums in 5 races. And second in the World Championship, sandwiched in between the 2 Mercedes drivers is amazing.
Yeah.
As I say, 4 points behind with 57 points is Lewis Hamilton. 9 points behind him is Sebastian Vettel, the second Ferrari, in 48 points. Now again, Seb won't be happy with that, because he is the most successful driver on the grid with 4 World Championships, and he's behind a 1 World Championship. With obviously Kimi Raikkonen, I mean his teammate. He's beaten by a non-World Championship winner, Nico Rosberg, and then obviously the 3 of Lewis Hamilton. He's on par with Daniel Ricciardo in 5th place. So obviously Seb and Daniel on the same points. Maybe that'll change. Most likely that'll change on Sunday. So who will come out on top? Who will move into 4th place in the championship? Then obviously Max Verstappen in 38 points. He didn't have a great start of the season because he was in the Toro Rosso. He couldn't prove anything. But obviously a win in his debut race for Red Bull shows that he has. It might be a bit too late for himself to go after the World Championship this year for 2 reasons. One, because he started late. Remember, he was in the car on the 5th race. And also because of Nico just running off into the distance. Maybe it's a bit too late from this season, but if he keeps on this form, most likely next season. So obviously, Nico doing unbelievable. So let's move on to his teammate JT, Lewis Hamilton. And I'm kind of sick of talking about him now, because if you've watched our preview shows and review shows and F1 debate shows over the weeks, guys, you'll know that we've talked about Lewis and how much he kind of needs to, buck up his ideas
Yes.
And I mean, JT, how late is it for him now? How late? He's coming into round 6. He's in third. He's been overtaken by Kimi Raikkonen, a guy who is quite old, double the age of Max Verstappen when he won. As he said, he raced with his dad. What is Lewis Hamilton thinking? Tell me what he is thinking right now.
Well, the clock is definitely running out for Lewis Hamilton to claw after Nico, and he's still yet to win a race. Now, I mean, not winning at the start of the season is no strange thing to Lewis Hamilton. I mean, I think it was 2009. I think he won his first race at Hungary, I believe. I think that was when he won his first race, because the first half of the season he had a terrible start, but then the second half of the season he won a couple of races. Yeah. But obviously, but by then, it wasn't a talked about thing. You know what I mean? Obviously, McLaren were a bit, 1 minute they were good here, next minute were good there, and it wasn't really one team dominating apart from Braun at the start of the season. But then they sort of dropped the pace. But obviously, a team like Mercedes, who have dominated the sport for the past 3 years, obviously can't afford to really do that. Especially Lewis Hamilton, he's won 2 on the trot, going for 3, and now he's fallen behind his teammate, which is, like you said, Elsie. We've talked about this for weeks and weeks and weeks, and how can you not talk about it? It's a massive, massive topic that to keep chatting at, and people are probably getting bored of it. People are probably not. They're like, I want to talk about it more. I'm really interested in stuff. But Hamilton going into this weekend, same as every weekend, as we've said, very, very pressure, very, very right. And by this time, I don't know what's going through his mind, because as we've said in the past couple of weeks, right, I need to win this race. I need to focus. I need to get me nut down and stuff. Whereas this weekend, he's probably like, Monaco is going to be one of the hardest circuits, because he knows Nico's a massive threat to win this race. Yeah, without a doubt, he knows the streets, very perfectly. Hamilton does as well. Hamilton's lived there before, but obviously won't know it as well as Nico. Hamilton's only won this race once. He won it back in 2008 in his championship winning year, and Rosberg's won it 3 times in a row. So obviously the momentum is definitely with Rosberg, and Rosberg has won 4 out of 5 races. So obviously the ball is definitely undoubtedly in Nico Rosberg's court. Yeah. So Hamilton needs to change that fortune and fast. He needs to win probably out the next 3 to 4 races. We're coming up to Canada, which is the next race after Monaco, where Hamilton's had the most success. He won there in 2008, he won there in 2010, he's won there in 2012. He knows that circuit well. His first win. Exactly, that's where he took his first win. Exactly, only 7 races into his career. So I believe he'll do well there, because again, he knows that track well. And maybe if he wins a race, whether it's Monaco or Canada or whatever, that's when I think Hamilton will go, you know what? I think if I do this strategy and I do this, mental work, I believe that this will get Rosberg down, and maybe this is where Hamilton will climb up the grid, climb up the table again. And Rosberg will feel the pressure. Because Rosberg hadn't really had any pressure throughout the past couple of years, because throughout the last stage of the season he's been behind Lewis, and Lewis has been expected to win the World Championship. Whereas now the tables have turned, where Rosberg's now ahead, so he'll need to gain momentum. He's never really been in this position before, probably not until 2014, because 2015 it was pretty much a Hamilton season. So he'll need to keep the pressure away. So yeah, it's just a big topic to talk about, isn't it? That's the only thing that's happening right now. There's nothing happening at the back of the grid. Can something just happen at the back of the grid just for a bit, so we can just talk about that? Yeah. You know what I mean? But as like I said, it is a massive, massive topic, and Hamilton, it needs to be now rather than later. And if he doesn't win from now, probably till about Britain, Hungary time,
that is very late.
I think it's bye World Championship. And it'll be Rosberg and maybe Ricciardo, Raikkonen. And as I said, Max Verstappen, I believe it is too late. But coming from the words of the late James Hunt, as a similar thing, what he said about Ayrton Senna, he won't win the World Championship this season, but he'll be undoubtedly be World Champion in the future. That's Max Verstappen.
Oh, yes. Very, very much so. Yes. When you said about the back of the grid, we will move on to the predictions that we posted on the page on Monday. So they've been up for a few days. We've been having some good comments, obviously, watching different drivers and stuff like that. As I say, I want to stress that these are accumulations of what they have done in the past, what they did in previous races, like years beforehand, at that same circuit, so like 2015, Spain 2016, what happened there, and also gut instinct. So these are just our predictions, what we anticipate will finish. So we'll move on to them in a while. So let's just mention about the tyres. Obviously, because we have the introduction of the ultra soft tyre, JT, the purple marked tyre. At the start of the season, it was meant to be Canada, and then it was changed about a month and a half ago. Obviously, when we first initially made our tyre video, I did say it was Canada, so obviously it was changed to Monaco. But I assume you all know that now. And I'll just run through, obviously, who's chosen what tyres. And they've gone down to Storm. That out of the 13 pairs, both Mercedes drivers of Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg have chosen 10 pairs of the ultra soft tyre. Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Raikkonen at Ferrari have chosen 9. Red Bull have chosen 10 alongside Mercedes, and Valtteri Bottas and Felipe Massa, the 2 drivers at Williams, have chosen 7. And then it accumulates from then between 10 and 6. The lowest team to choose are Manor, who have chosen 5 or 6, that looks like, in the pack. So obviously these ultra soft tyres wanting to be around to stay, looking like a very fun track. It's probably not the most durable in terms of what to finish the race on. That's probably the soft tyre, but obviously the ultra soft, an incredibly fun tyre to play around with, especially in the 3 practice sessions. Obviously qualifying to get the best lap in, and then obviously to play around in the race to see what happens. Because like the old qualifying system, we'd never seen this before, and then when it comes in, it'll be fun to see. The qualifying system wasn't. Remember in Australia that was crap, but we all anticipated that it would be good, and we anticipate that the ultra soft tyre will be good as well. So it'd be great to see on track, won't it, JT? It's just another compound to play around with, knowing that tyres now, well, in the last few years, have been even more so like anticipated to be basically a massive, almost like a third of the thing to watch in a race.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, it is obviously a brand new tyre to see, and obviously we love seeing new things in Formula 1. We all expect them to be in street circuits like Singapore, like Canada, Baku, Monaco as well. So they're the circuits that we probably will be seeing these tyres. I believe the difference will probably be about 0.2, I would say. Probably from the super soft tyres, I would imagine. Obviously, that's just a guess. Obviously, we'll find out a lot more about them when P1 and P2 come around, which is happening right now, by the way. And again, in qualifying, which was funny enough, because if you remember, those who watched Tuned, where on the very first episode when they were walking through the garage, they were doing some futuristic things, and if you remember, they had the super soft tires, which were purple marked.
Yes.
So, and I was like, I remember when they first announced the ultra soft tires, and I was like, we've seen them before, Tuned. and then they announced the waterproof champagne resistant overalls.
Yep.
That might come in handy, but then the last thing was the rocket launchers, and I'm like,
Well, if Hamilton gets his way to get Rosberg out of full pole.
But we're gonna go massively off topic if we start talking about Tuned anyways. But yeah, these tires were very, very fantastic to see. I believe the wear will be probably a lot. You know what I mean. So I don't know when about to see them. Maybe the latter stage of P1, P2, perhaps, maybe even P3. I really don't know, if I'm perfectly honest with you. And as I said, I really can't wait. Obviously, I believe Ted Kravitz that will probably go into more analysis, what he does in his notebooks about these tyres.
Amazing Ted.
Exactly, Ted and his sandals and his umbrella and his notepad blew away China, I think it was. So yeah.
Oh yeah, that was good. Yes, if it's windy and rainy in Monaco, that'll happen again. But yeah, it's something to play around with the teams. I say we don't even know. We can't even anticipate what kind of a stop it's going to be. Will the ultra soft tyres? I mean, it's looking like these will wear, as JT said, they'll wear quite fast, because it looks like they are. Because obviously the super soft do and blah blah blah. Obviously they're going to be the faster tyre. The anticipated, obviously, the faster than the super soft. But it's all great to see. I think we'll get a real indication after the 3 practice sessions coming into qualifying. But even then, it'll be something to play around with.
Yes.
Just before we move on to the predictions, JT, the last man, obviously, who impressed in Spain was Max Verstappen.
Yes.
As you know, he had his crash this time last year in Monaco, where he fell to earth. He realised that he could. That he wasn't he was living on the ecstasy of being in Formula 1, being the youngest driver in Formula 1, and now that's worn off. And then Monaco onwards, if you like, Canada onwards, Canada 15 onward, he fell to earth because of his Monaco crash. Do you think he will be, analyse him, obviously after what happened last year, but after what happened in Spain and being an 18-year-old who's won a race in his first race for Red Bull.
Well, I think Monaco was pretty much the first race where we generally saw what Max Verstappen could offer, especially in a circuit like Monaco, where it's literally impossible to overtake. And he proved that it wasn't. He overtook like 4 or 5 cars, and I pulled that amazing move on Grosjean. If you remember, that was an absolutely fantastic move. Honestly, I remember sitting there. It was like, it must have been millimeters from that barrier. It was just, honestly, he couldn't have put that perfectly. And that was like, is this going to be another not Jim Clark, sorry, Graham Hill, Ayrton Senna, a king of Monaco, you know what I mean? And now he's in the faster car. Now he's won a race. Could he win the race? I would have imagined so. Yeah. And obviously last year again, he showed obviously he realised what generally could happen in Formula 1 if you were to get it wrong. Such a big impact. Yeah. He would have learned from that, definitely. You know what I mean? I think it was just I had the adrenaline I'll trick him, then I'll move it on the outside. Yeah. But I think Grosjean, was it Grosjean he hit, or was it Maldonado?
I think it was Grosjean.
I was definitely a Lotus, I know that, but I generally can't remember which one.
Yeah.
But I think the Lotus broke a little bit too early, and Max Verstappen, sort of didn't react quick enough, and it was just like bang, and everything went wrong. So he will have learned from that, definitely.
Yeah.
And a podium chance is very, very likely. Highly likely, definitely, if he does well in qualifying.
Yes.
And his car does well. And I'll be spot Max Verstappen this weekend, as well as my own McLarens, which is we've got nothing to talk about really. So
yeah, of course. just on that corner, on corner 1, which is I can't remember the name of it, something French.
Zandvoort.
Yes. Many drivers went off. Romain Grosjean crashed there. Felipe Massa went off every single day in that 3-day weekend, including twice in, I think it was qualifying, and then also in the race, which obviously you had to go to hospital. Romain Grosjean came off there, and many other drivers in the past. So it wasn't strange to see Max going off at that point. But obviously some of that took him down to earth, and he'll find a way of saying it helped him. Maybe it did. Maybe he thought then, I'm going to drive with my head instead of just recklessness. But anyway, sorry, let's get on to the predictions that we posted on the page on Monday. Now, this is just myself and JT's thoughts of what could happen, a gut instinct. That's it. It's just gut instinct. It's what we want to see and what we think will happen. Not what we want to see, because obviously that would be very biased. It's what we think will happen. So the first person who's at the top, JT, is Sebastian Vettel. Now, let's just say a quick word that Ferrari are cursed at Monaco. They are cursed, JT. Their garage is in the darkness. It's in a massive shadow. It rains. It goes terrible for their races. They've had many times when they fall foul of different things. They are cursed. They are touched by the devil at this race, and they haven't won since the 2001 Monaco Grand Prix with Michael Schumacher, and that was their last one. That was their last win at Monaco, and their last 1-2 in the shape of Michael Schumacher and Rubens Barrichello. So it's been 14 editions ran, and obviously this is going to be the 15th. So 14 without winless, as I posted on the page, and they're going to be going for this. So I think, and also as well, Sebastian is back to be the only man to catch the Mercedes, wasn't he, JT? At the start of the year, he was back to be the only man to stop him, obviously after his 4 championships, his bad year in 14, but then his amazing turnaround in 15, obviously with his amazing season with Ferrari.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely consider Vettel as a contender. As you said, Ferrari have had very bad omens in Monaco. Haven't won since 2001. They've won the Monaco Grand Prix 9 times, second highest of all time, just behind McLaren. And obviously, a team like Ferrari not going that many times to win in a circuit like Monaco, is unheard of. But obviously, new things have happened since then. Like, new teams have took over. Ferrari haven't been the best, and obviously they've got a driver in Sebastian Vettel who is an absolute talent. And he's capable of winning a race. Definitely, he's capable of winning the Monaco Grand Prix without a doubt.
Yeah.
He's got the car. He's got the ability. You know what I mean. He just needs a good run of fortunes this weekend, and I believe he could do it. I believe he'll get on the podium. Whether, in my opinion, he'll win it or not. As like I said, Rosberg is favourite to win, and I would say Rosberg to win. I would probably say Vettel second. And who do I go with? Hamilton or Verstappen?
Well, we have Verstappen third. It's a toss up between those. As I say, with Nico second, I think that is, they're going to be definitely going for it. But I just don't know. I feel like it's going to be Sebastian his day. Then he will change so much in the championship. Obviously, then he'll move way ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, and then depending obviously how Lewis does and how well, I think, if Kimi does badly in the race, then he could catch him. So basically, Seb could move from 4th to even 2nd in the championship, depending on what obviously happens. But it would be great to see. So obviously Seb first, Rosberg second, as you said, JT. He'll be going for the win. Four wins. He's chasing 4 wins at Monaco. Just an amazing track. I'd say his home race, his second home race. And remember last year, because obviously Germany wasn't on the calendar, it was his only home race, wasn't it? So
it was.
He'll definitely be going for this, won't he?
Without a doubt, he'll be good enough for this. He's got that support. He's probably got his, his mates on the balconies. The guys who goes drinking down the local with, have a game of pool and darts.
The local in Monaco, oh god.
Exactly, called Le Royal Keys or whatever.
Rich, whatever rich is in French, was probably rich. I was French.
Right, yeah.
I was better at German. Dankeschön. Third place,
he's German, so yeah.
Third place, I have Max Verstappen. Obviously, 18-year-old who's won in his very first race in Red Bull. I think over everything, I think that just impresses so much more, I think, than knowing that he's a teenager. That this is his first race with Red Bull. He was the underdog. He was, and we said, I know, I'm sorry, we're going, obviously, we're mentioning what we did in the review show, but I'll catch it if you haven't already. We said that obviously he had loads to prove to Daniel Kvyat. Obviously, he went back to Toro Rosso, to his teammate, to Christian Horner, to Helmut Marko, to Dietrich Mateschitz, to everyone in the world, and he performed better than anyone thought. Because did you think he would win?
Not a chance.
Did I think he'd win? No. Did him outside think he was going to win? Did Christian? Did Helmut? Did Dietrich? Did
he said no? The guy said no. He just went no.
Did Anthony Davidson? Nobody thought he would win.
Did that Bird think he'll win?
Did that?
No, it's ignored it.
We'll list more people. Didn't think he would win.
We've run out of things to say.
A third place is definitely on the point for him, and as I say, as JT said, he could move up, battling for the. I mean, it's everyone's ball game. It really is. I think if we said this in Spain, it wasn't everyone's ball game. It was looking at Rosberg, but because he had that problem with the Mercedes tangling, which again could happen again, that could be his retirement. It might not be a natural retirement, JT. It might not be like an irretrievable puncture where, say, the floor scrapes, an engine blowout, I don't know, a driver being sick, fist fight. It could be that he collides with his teammate, Lewis.
And if that were to happen, do you think he'll do what Ayrton Senna did in '88 when he just walks back to his apartment? Famously.
As I say, I mean, he's got that luxury. I mean, not many drivers could do that because, they'd be they'd go to someone and they'd go to a marshal and go, "Can I walk to the airport from here to get the plane home to where I live?"
It was like when Sebastian Vettel was on the team radio in Turkey. It was like beep 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 swearing and that. And he goes, "I'm going home," and I felt like saying, "Seb, I'm not being funny, but you're in Istanbul, and I believe your home is in Stuttgart."
So what a long walk home. So fourth place is Kimi Raikkonen. As I say, JT, he's in the best position of his life. The second best position, then obviously 2007, his win. He was at the top of the World Championship once in his comeback. That was after the 2013 Australian Grand Prix, obviously, which he won. He got knocked by Sebastian Vettel down second, and I think he finished that year in 5th or 6th, something like that. But obviously he was leading. He's in the best position to go for everything. He's got now to lose. He's got everything to play for. Kimi, fourth place. Think that's likely. Think he could get higher or lower or.
I mean, he's on good form, definitely. Obviously, as I said, 3 podiums in 5 races. And obviously, he's a very talented driver. He's a veteran, obviously, and he's coming to the latter stages of his not only his Formula 1 career but his racing career as well. So he'll and if he does want to stay in Formula 1, he's got something. He needs something, to prove to Ferrari and also to other teams if he wants to stay. And if he does get 4th place, that's not a bad result. It's kind of a good result. If he gets on the podium, that's an even better result. And it's just it's just proving to Ferrari, I may be 35, 36. I can still do well. I'm still the Kimi Raikkonen that I was. I've still got it in us. he won't win another championship probably again. So that's a bit negative to say, but that's realistic. But I believe that Kimi Raikkonen needs to show that that I'm not pushover. I've had a bad few years. Let's do well in Monaco. Let's show that I'm still on good form, and I hope he keeps us up through the season as well.
Yeah. First place is Lewis Hamilton for the Mercedes, yes. the reigning world champion. Fifth place is low for him, but not a shock compared to this season, is it, JT?
No, I mean, obviously it's a realistic place to put him because he's had an absolute shocker.
Yeah, it's not been good for Lewis, but obviously if he's gone for that win, then obviously fifth place isn't good enough. Fifth place isn't first
not
place.
A chance. If he gets fifth place, then it's just going to cause more controversy, more stern, more and everything else like that. So yeah.
Please catch our video if you haven't already, where we talk about Rosberg potentially leaving for Ferrari, where he was in talks with Ferrari with a contract. Is that just a load of coswallop? But
a load of Red Bull, you could say. I'm good at this.
Don't count your chickens too early, as JT would say.
Exactly. Don't count your chicken grosjeans, as you would say. I'm rolling out these jokes today, ladies and gentlemen.
Red Bull's Daniel Ricciardo is in sixth place. Seventh is Felipe Massa. Eighth, JT, is Fernando Alonso. Obviously, as you say, Mercedes the most successful team in McLaren. There, most successful team in Monaco. Obviously, again, he would get into the points. You can definitely tell they're improving, but is eighth place? Can McLaren get that?
Realistic, yes. You know what I mean? Because if McLaren have a good qualifying session and the car's good to them, which it has been throughout, apart from on 2 hiccups this season, and then I believe that they can do well. Alonso and Button, they've got the best, pretty much the most experienced drivers on the grid, definitely in terms of teams. And I believe Alonso realistically is in 8th place. If he gets in 8th place, that's okay. We've still got some points and we're doing well. We're making progress. I would be happy with 8th. Well, anything with a point. If you get 10th, I hate getting the single point. 2 points as well because we made progress and stuff. But if we get anything from 9th above, I would be happy. If we win the race, I'll be absolutely ecstatic.
Oh yes,
you know what I mean. If you remember my reaction when Max Verstappen won, when I was going ballistic, just wait till McLaren win a race. That's going to be. I would look like all your friends are winning seriously because I would hide for like weeks because that's going to be a big celebration. Trust me.
Now the next person I want to talk about, JT, is in 9th place. Now he did an amazing race in Spain, one of the best. He was the only Spaniard to finish. I think he is someone to watch for the future. And before I say his name, which by the way I think everyone knows his name, his teammate was once the big cheese at Red Bull. Now he's back at Toro Rosso. But I think after Spain, he's now not the leader. So he's gone from Red Bull to the second driver at Toro Rosso. But the man, obviously, the Spaniard at Toro Rosso is doing incredible. And if he can get in the point at Monaco, would be fantastic. And it's Carlos Sainz. Is that possible, do you think?
Definitely. I believe he can get higher than 9th. I believe he can go for 7th, 6th place. You know what I mean? He's got the ability to do it. And he's definitely one for the future. And certainly someone Red Bull should consider if Ricciardo were to leave, or if Max Verstappen were to go to Ferrari at some point in the future, or Mercedes, or wherever the big teams are. So he obviously, I believe that he's got a few world championships in him. Should he get the right car? I mean, you never know. Toro Rosso might become the next big thing. Should rules change in the future? Obviously, it's happened to Red Bull and it's happened to Mercedes, so why not Toro Rosso? Obviously, funding in that is still a big thing, but obviously, you never know.
If Carlos went to Red Bull, if Daniel Kvyat was still at Toro Rosso with Carlos, and Carlos went to Red Bull, how much would that peeve him off?
Massively.
It was
a lot.
He would hear that.
He probably would leave from Formula 1. I believe he'll leave Formula 1 because of what's going on, because he's criticising all these politics and stuff, which is true. But I believe he's because of this, he'll get sick, and maybe at the end of the season he'll go, right, I'm going to go into Russian touring cars or whatever.
IndyCar, whatever that is.
Whatever that is.
And the last person to mention in the points, again, double McLaren's in the points, it's Jenson Button. They are so improved from McLaren. I'm actually quite happy for them. I don't know why. Because you won't expect so much. But I'm like, come on, boys. You're doing well here. It's like, come on, it's like calling your dog. Come on, boy, this way, come on.
Like back in the day, you used to be able to run fast. You would fetch the ball, and now your legs are tired. You've got arthritis, and you're going to be put down the next couple of weeks.
I'll just list out some of the next people we have. Obviously, with Romain Grosjean in 11th place, a driver who he's won the Driver of the Day award in the very first race in Australia, and since then, JT, it's a curse of the Driver of the Day award.
Exactly, we've never awarded it twice.
Which I actually believe, just as I said that, I believe that's true because Australia went to Romain Grosjean, then he fell. Yes. Second one went to Stoffel Van Dorn, and he has never been seen again. I mean, I know he's not a Formula 1 driver, so that's a bit different.
He's gone.
The third one, JT, that this definitely is a curse. How does Daniel Kvyat win Driver of the Day award? And now he's back to Toro Rosso.
I know. Oh, God, what have we done? Oh, no.
And then fourth place is Kimi Raikkonen. But let's cross your fingers because, obviously, as I say, he's in the best position of his life. If he's got the curse, then bye-bye.
If he crashes out in Monaco at the race, then I think we need to burn that trophy.
We do.
Actually, no, we don't.
Oh, no, that's it. Don't burn your football / Formula 1 Driver of the Day.
It's not a football trophy.
And then I've got Daniel Kvyat in 17th in the third last driver in the grid. I'm not doing that because I don't like him. But as I say, he didn't perform well in Spain. I think Red Bull have made the best decision of their lives. I don't know how they did it, but they almost had they could read the future, they could predict the future, and they knew that when Daniel got to Monaco, he would mess up. Sorry, when he gets to Spain, he would mess up. They knew the future. We didn't know it. I didn't know it. You didn't know it. That guy outside didn't know it. But
he's still standing there. He's still shooting his head. No, didn't know it.
But they've made the right decision. Having the JT by, for one, getting Max in, obviously the race winner, and two, Daniel obviously doing a terrible race in Spain.
Absolutely fantastic decision from Max Verstappen, from Red Bull and Helmut Marko and all the guys up there. We were saying obviously when the decision was announced, it would be like, right, if Max Verstappen were to win a race, it would be classed as a good signing. But if he were to fail and underperform like what Perez did and Kovalainen did when they jumped to the top teams early, and then we'll be like, what does the future hold for Max Verstappen? But he's just proved that he kept a total of five world championships behind him, 4 in Vettel, 1 in Kimi, and as well as a good talent in Daniel Ricciardo to win the race. And that just showed that what fight he has and how much determination he has. Well, we never saw that in Danny. We wouldn't see it at the start, but then it comes to the end of the season where Christian Horner would criticise him and be like, great, come on, Daniel, you need to stop performing now, and he does, provide the results, good qualifying results, good race performance, overtakes, and stuff like that, and now I think Red Bull just gave up with him. It's like, right, they're thinking like, what's best for the future, and obviously who better look to than their own, their own son, the new golden child, you could say, in Max Verstappen, and their decision is probably the best decision ever. Probably the best decision since signing Sebastian Vettel. I would definitely thought.
Well, they're definitely they're definitely backing Max as the new Seb.
New Schumacher. I've said many times before, and I will say it again. Give him the right car, he will beat Schumacher's record. I know he will.
Just as you easily said that, JC. When people told me that, when you told me that, I didn't think that was maybe that true, but now I do know. My head isn't in the clouds. Don't get too preoccupied with what Max can do. He's a golden child, but he definitely is. After Spain, after the win in his first race, he's 18, younger than me and JT. Sorry if you feel old, but
absolutely.
So that was our predictions. Last thing before we close out this video, JT, is your top 3 nailed down.
Nailed down. I have mentioned it a little bit before, but I haven't decided to pick 3. But because I went with Nico Rosberg first, Sebastian Vettel second. P3, I'm stuck between Hamilton or Verstappen. Now Hamilton, he's good in Monaco. He's got a really good car. He wants to do well. But then you got Max Verstappen, who again is good in Monaco. He showed that he's got momentum. He's got a good car. So I'm gonna. I'm gonna go with Max Verstappen. Why not? Why not? What have I got to lose?
Good lad.
If it's Hamilton, then you won't see me on the review. I'll be like, right, did I go with Max? Oh God.
Right.
Yeah. So that's my top three.
That's JT's top three, and obviously my top three: Sebastian Vettel, Nico Rosberg, and Max Verstappen. So we have the same third place. Last thing to mention is that, which is a fantastic tribute, and I'm sure a lot of other drivers will have done this, is fellow French driver Romain Grosjean has placed on his helmet a very nice tribute to Jules Bianchi after he scored his the only points for both Marussia and himself in the 2014 Monaco Grand Prix with his amazing overtake into the penultimate corner. I've forgotten who he did it. I think it was a Caterham, wasn't it? But obviously,
it was Kobayashi at at turn.
I think it was the last one, wasn't it?
Turn 18, I think it was.
Yeah, but obviously unbelievable. Everyone remembers that. He will be something big, and I'm sure that will catch on through the grid. Obviously, we had the stickers for Jules through his recovery, and obviously after his unfortunate passing away. So it's just an amazing tribute to see. Obviously, as I say, a fellow Frenchman, someone who, he obviously spent loads of time with Jules, and very sad. Yeah. So obviously, we remember that, and I'm sure that will be mentioned in whatever station you watch it on, whatever station you watch the race, and I'm sure that'll be mentioned many times because it's just something that we'll never ever forget. In Formula 1, which is great. So thank you very much, guys, for watching this review show. Review, tomato. There's only got to say. That's the review, guys. Don't watch the race anymore. We've told you what's going to happen.
Watch on Sunday for the preview show.
So thank you for watching the preview show. Please catch us tomorrow for episode 6 of F1 Decoded, which is James Hunt, Niki Lauda versus James Hunt, an iconic rivalry, the most documented, and obviously the film Rush in 2013 was based off the rivalry. And then obviously for Sunday for the Monaco Grand Prix preview. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the F1 Debate Show and tell your friends. And any comments you have, just please leave them down there. We love reading your comments and stuff like that. We get a real buzz from them.
We do.
So thank you for watching this video, guys, and we will see you in the next one.
See you later, guys. Take care. Enjoy the Monaco Grand Prix.
Yes, love it. And you'll see us afterwards. Bye-bye.
See ya.